welcome back to Templar Talks, episode 31 this time. And yeah,
welcome.
We're going strong. A bit interesting. I did not see any shows in the past 2 weeks. I was super close. I was super close to going to the Willemijn Cafe, but I ended up not going because the next day I was having a night off and I was planning to go full on into my black greenhouse. Just because I wanted to finish it so I could do plants in there and be done with it. And, well, I'm happy to report to people that I kind of finished it. So.
Nice. So we will be seeing photos.
You've been seeing photos.
I know.
Videos.
I've been sharing. Come on.
And yeah, I've been currently busy by putting plants in there every morning and taking them out in the evening. And
nice.
Yeah, making sure they're not getting sunburned. Something that I can, say I wish I did that for myself, but I didn't. So yeah, with the first rays of sun, I got already sunburned this week. Yeah, story of my life. But that means that I'm all seasoned for the festivals. So
story of my life.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no shows, Sabina. How is that possible? So how are you gonna?
Yeah, priorities. Sometimes you just have to do other things, you know?
Yeah, okay. But you listened at least to music, so that's...
I did, indeed. And I'm trying to clear my schedules so I can do a lot of interviews again.
See, that's good news.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a lot of requests. And yeah... Then actually planning them is always the second one. But I also need time to prepare those. So I need also to keep that in account.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I'll be recording a couple soon. Then I've been struggling with YouTube a little bit. Because our previous episode we were apparently talking about a topic that we are not supposed to talk about according to the guidelines, which was completely untrue. But if I mention the topic now, we will get issues again, so I cannot say anything about it. Let's just say it involves an orange creature from the US that we definitely not talked about, but the algorithm seemed to think that we did. So I had to appeal a couple times. But... we're on, and eventually I looked at this morning. It seems that still a lot of people found the episode, so I'm quite happy still.
Yes.
And otherwise, you still can do so. It's online, and it's also on other platforms like Spotify. So in case something ever happens, there's always multiple options. But now I'm more curious. I had no shows, but did you?
Yeah. Well, I just remember I had another show.
Look.
Yeah, the last day of last month, I went to Bibelot. It's been a while since I've been there. But I got I kind of invited myself with a fellow photographer. And I went to see Cult of Fire, The Great Old Ones, and Caronte. They were touring together. And
I haven't heard of Caronte for a very long time. I remember that I reviewed them back in the days, I think. But I haven't heard from them for a while. I'm curious, how were they?
Well, I'm not... the vocals were not my best. I quite liked the music. And the performance was nice. They were not standing in pitch black, which is nice. You could actually see the members playing, which I always seem to enjoy. Not only with my camera, but also if I'm in the audience, I like to see a little bit of the band instead of only shadows.
True. They always say light's not for the photographers, but the audience quite like to see something too,
Exactly. But there was this. It was it. Yeah. Well, it was the case this evening that there was enough light. Um, not too much. So yeah, Carranza, I liked them, but the vocalist was. I don't know. It to me it didn't felt like the greatest vocalist ever. Also not the worst, but didn't convince me as a band actually.
That's
Yeah, well, sometimes you have to have bands you like, and sometimes you have the bands you like a little less.
yeah. You
Otherwise,
cannot connect with everything at the same level, I guess.
no, and otherwise they're all gonna be ending up in our top 5 at the end of the year, and it's already hard. So, but there was this second band. I think they were from France. They were the Great Old Ones. That was a little bit more black metal. I think Carranza was a little bit more doom. So the Great Old Ones were a little bit more black, and I actually liked this band a lot. Maybe the best. Yeah, nice show. I just liked it.
Good to hear.
I don't know. Maybe I'm a little bit short in telling about what I like about a band, but it's been a while. And my mind has been a little bit busy the last week, so I'm sorry, people. So you have to do this time what I just liked it. Yeah. It was good, it was fun, I enjoyed myself. And I will be definitely listening to it again, so that's good. If you make it to my playlist.
Yeah, that's true. That's something new for your playlist.
Yes. Well, you think there's never black metal, but there is black metal on it.
I wouldn't say never, but rarely. Not as much as I, at least.
No, not as much as you, but there has been some black metal. I've listened to Comfort and Satyricon the last week, so there's been... Yeah. And then, of course, the headliner was Cult of Fire. I think a lot of people came to see this band. I think you should know this band if you're going to be in the audience, because the show is not really... There is a big show, but there's also not much happening. So for those who don't know the band, there's like two sort of high seats, and then the guitarists are on the high seats, and they're sitting in a kleermaker sit with their legs crossed. How do you say that in English?
With crossed legs.
Yeah,
basically.
with crossed legs, with the legs crossed. And they're playing guitar, and that's all they do. In sort of a snake... seat. And then there's the vocalist. He's standing behind a big table with fresh fruits and candles and the whole, I don't know, offering table. And then actually the whole show is some sort of ride. He is doing like, blowing the incense into the sky and calling out to whatever and some bells, and that's everything that happens, and you don't see him sing because he's wearing a big mask. So all you see is this sort of dressed up person with a big mask doll thing in his sort of white colorful kimono, and that's everything. And then the guitarists are sitting there in the kleermakerszitje. So there is not much happening. So I think you should really, to get the experience out of the show, you should know the music. Because, I don't know, you get more into it, I think.
Yeah.
But it was quite nice. But maybe because of that, I didn't know any of the bands before I went there. And I think my favorite of the evening was the Great Old Ones. but it was a nice evening, and I quite liked it. It was actually Baruch on tour. Baruch is a tiny venue that's being rebuilt, so they booked some shows in another venue. I'm happy with it because they bring finally a little bit of metal to my town. It was a little bit lacking.
It's not like the old days anymore with Bibelot.
No.
Gosh, how many shows have I seen in Bibelot with you?
Many, many, many.
Yeah.
But it was fun. So that was my first show I went to. I think it was actually the evening of last episode. I went there.
Oh, yeah. Possible.
Yeah, very possible. And then yesterday I went to see Enemy Inside. They were actually playing a while back, but I think the drummer was very ill. I think he had a terrible flu with a high fever. So they had to cancel the gig. They had 2 shows in the Netherlands that weekend, and they had to cancel. And luckily for the fans, they could find a new date to play in Utrecht. It was yesterday, but because of not everybody, they sold a lot more tickets. But I think I heard around like 60 people or something. They couldn't make it yesterday, so the audience was not that large. But everyone who was there was very much enjoying the band, which actually was kind of very nice, you know. Sometimes a huge crowd is nice, but sometimes a small crowd where everybody knows all of the songs is also kind of very fun. I mean, we've been to shows in Baruch with, I don't know, 70 people, and I have some good memories of that. So yesterday, I quite liked it. The audience was singing along, jumping along, waving along with their arms. There was even a tiny little mosh pit. And for those who don't know Enemy Inside, they're a German band. They have their, I don't know how you say, their own style maybe. They fuse a lot of pop and catchy melodies into their metal sound. And the vocalist, Nastasia, she can actually do some very mean growls. So you go from very pop and catchy to very aggressive growls within the blink of an eye. But I think a lot of people will not like it because it has this, it has pop and catchy influences, and it's not metal enough for probably a lot of people. But it's, I think it's a band to enjoy, just having a good time. So that was that.
Well, at least you saw more than I did.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was fun yesterday. It was a nice party.
I will be seeing some bands before the next episode, though. So that's...
Well, then we will change it because I don't think I will see any show the next, I don't know, months.
Oh dear. Well, I think next week at least I will be seeing the Greasebit Gringos. And some others were also on the same night, but I cannot recall their names because I know who's inviting me, so and I might see another band the day before or 2 days before, and then there's also King's Day that I might see bands. Not sure yet whether I will or will not. But I probably will because for people who don't know, in the Netherlands, King's Day is usually at the end of April, and we have a lot of festivals and festivities through the whole country. People can just go there and enjoy free music. Almost at any city there's been something going on. Of course, not everywhere there's metal, but some towns do program metal. And what also happens is that the king and his family are visiting a city or a town every year. And there's lots of festivities in that town, and a lot of people come to that town to see the king and the family, so they could actually meet him, like shake his hand or take selfie or something like that. And it happens to be that the king and his family is visiting my town this year.
Yeah, they're coming over for tea, right?
Yeah, I love to serve them a cup of tea and a nice cup of cake, but yeah, the problem is usually I go to Arnhem to see Willemsvest, and I leave around noonish, and then I'm already a sardine in the train because I cannot go by car to the city center of Arnhem because there's so much festivities that you are not allowed to enter there with your car. Nor are you able to park it anywhere. But... So, I wonder how that is going to work, because a lot of people will come to this city and try to get a glimpse of the king and his family. So I'm not sure if I even want to leave my house, or am I going to stay in the town, not see any of the bands in Arnhem, and just hang out here, take some pictures of the king and the family,
or you can
maybe
just
even
run
apply
off into nature.
Yeah. Or
with
apply
your with metal in your headphones, and you be walking around nature. There's no people. Well, maybe there are people, but
yeah, I don't think I'm the only one who wants to escape.
No.
But there's also like lots of festivals in the city center, but we get like the great artists like Snollebollekes and some Dutch pop artists. So let's just say it's not even close to metal, and it will never be any close to metal. So I'm not completely looking forward to that. So
what we have to enter.
Yeah, I still play with the idea in my mind to leave the night before and stay at a friend's place and go to Arnhem from there. But that doesn't solve my problem of getting home, because that will be the most... I mean, of course, for the trains, the situation on the way out of town is worse at that time. But almost every year I'm a sardine when I go home, and I cannot count on being able to catch the last train because it's full.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Luckily, that festival always ends on time, so I am always able to leave on time to get home. But yeah, that's kind of realizing how much in a luxury position I am, that I always am able to go everywhere by car. So I don't have these issues. But then when something like this national holiday on the birthday of the king is, then that's always a bit challenging. But maybe I can talk a little bit about Willemsvest, and you people might want to shout out for me to see if I should go or not, because the lineup is not 100% something I would like go to usually.
Yes.
Let me see. I think.
Is there anything we should know? Because there's almost always like.
Yeah, I think
small and local.
There's always a couple of bigger headliners. Always, like they had the Monolith Death Cult, they had Altark. That kind of bands. But this year, that's a bit like, we have Novelization. I photographed them before, seen them a couple times before. They're local there, and I like it, but it's not something that draws me into this festival per se, because I see them all the time anyway. So, yeah. Let's see, we have some band from Amsterdam called Snack Bar, and they're doing some punk. There's this Inferum. I don't know much about them, but they're Dutch. Let's see, what will we have? Islander or something, like, if I pronounce that correctly. They are from this local area, the east of the Netherlands. But the name doesn't look very Dutch or English whatsoever. Because they have, what is that? The Danish letters in there or something? But one band I'm curious about is Bombstrap. They are, some of them are from UK and some of them are Dutch. They also do a little bit of punk, hardcore kind of style. But they also are booked for festivals like Baruch Open Air. So, they're kind of having their name out at the moment. So that's something, I mean, it's not completely kind of my style of metal usually, but they do interest me. I do think I like to see that at some point. But then again, they play a lot.
Is that enough to go there?
They will, yeah. Then we have a band from, I think, Switzerland, and they're called Alchemists. And I think they're a bit like technical, a bit like Architects or Meshuggah kind of sounds.
That's nice.
So cool. Some international act from Switzerland. Always nice that there's also something else than just the Dutch bands that you are usually able to see quite everywhere. There's a black metal band called Bokkenrijders. I could like to see that because I kind of do like
the Bokkenrijders.
Black metal. Yeah, Bokkenrijders. Very Dutch name. Yeah. Then there's this band called Three-Eyed Kids, which is hardcore metal, hip-hop kind of stuff. And sometimes I kind of like that stuff, you know. Depends a little bit how it's done. But and if it's not too much yo-yo, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So it could be interesting. Then there's a local doom band from Arnhem called Empty Fix. Apparently some of their members have been playing in other bands as well. I don't know much about them, but they're booked. Some rock and roll band called Goldwolf. There is a band called A Night Under Maria's Altar. That's quite a name.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're doing very well on the internet. And then there's The Unslain. And The Unslain I've seen a lot about. I think I even reviewed an album or an EP at some point. They don't stick in mind too much, but if I remember correctly, they're doing this heavy metal, a bit modernized, so it's not like typical, the old school heavy metal, but a bit more modernized. I think that that band could be interesting for me to see, just for the sake of seeing it now. But I miss the kind of headlining name that draws me in, because you have to sit through all the other bands, you know. It's interesting, but you know, if there's nothing that you really like, then it's quite a long day watching this.
I know.
So yeah, I do see that on the website that they state that the end is at 10 o'clock. Which means I should probably be able to get home. So my excuse for that is kind of fading away. So maybe I have to be there. I think there was also some metal in Ede on the in the night before this festival. I enjoy that place for photographing bands, but it's a bit hard to park there in that venue because they have a parking lot in front, which is always quite full in the evening. But if you show up on time, you're usually able to fetch a space. But for King's Day, that is kind of blocked usually.
Yeah, it's King's Eve. It's of course it's Queen. How do you call it? Koningsavond. How do you? Queen's Night.
The night,
well,
King's Night. Yeah,
King's
it's the night before, and like a lot of these kind of places, you have to remove the cars because children are selling their their stuff and their toys in the
flea
next
markets.
day.
Yeah.
They have this flea markets where all the kids can go and sell stuff, and they're just in the open space. So often you're not able to park there. And all these complications. I just want to see metal.
Yeah. It's not easy,
You know?
Sabina. You have to put a little bit of effort in it.
Oh please! I'm fucking traveling to the other side of Europe to see a local band play there, and now you come telling me to put in an effort. Oh my god!
Well, you know I don't mean it.
Yeah, but I just want to state for the records and for their very own listeners that I am not short in putting in effort in seeing bands that I like.
No,
Let's say
I
it like
know.
that.
You travel to Germany, to Denmark, to Sweden, to Finland,
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
Norway.
Yep.
So, yes, you put in a lot of effort.
True. And I wish more people would do that. Then being able to get home after 10 o'clock ending of the festival is nothing. If I can overcome these kind of struggles, then everyone else can. But yeah, Willemsfest, go to Willemijn, Arnhem. It's near the central station, so it's not really like that far anyway. And it's free entry, so if you want to see some metal, that's where you need to be. And if you're there, come say hi, because that I kind of like it when I can meet some people, some listeners. So yeah, do that. All right, maybe we should move on to our next subject, the album that we picked. And yeah, I might have picked an album this time that Elvira does not really kind of like, because it's not typical something she listens to usually. It's a typical Sabina album, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. What can I say more? The band is called Fractured Fairytales, and their album is called Parasomnia. So, talking a little bit about this band, they're formed in like 2006 or so. They're an American band. They play industrial metal. When I say industrial metal, you have to think of the typical names that people refer to, like Nine Inch Nails, bit Fear Factory maybe. But in
if it would
I think
sound
they're
like
still
any of
quite-
those bands, I quite like it.
Yeah,
but
but
it's-
that's like Nine Inch Nails and Fear Factory are the Him and Paradise Lost of industrial, isn't it?
Yeah, but it doesn't.
Everybody sounds like them in their bios. So, yeah, I think that's the most logical reference to mention there. But that's what they wrote in their bio. So I'm telling people, and I must say with Nine Inch Nails, I can agree.
Yeah, there is something there, but it doesn't sound like Nine Inch Nails.
No, they're influenced by. So,
Yeah.
they say maybe. And I think Fear Factory is a bit further away. I think they also mentioned Marilyn Manson and Cannibal Corpse, which I did not hear that so much. Maybe Cannibal Corpse I can say yes, because they bring in the guitars in such a way that could be.
Marilyn Manson
But-
more the he's doing like Marilyn Manson
The
sometimes does a little bit of vocalish, like he's murmuring,
Yeah, but-
growling, murmuring. I don't know how you in English,
Oh yeah, well,
but he does something.
I have to
I
laugh because their first album was called Murmur.
well, explain.
That explains, Yeah.
So
No, but- I think what I liked about them is that they're the typical industrial craziness that I like, the chaos that is in there, that is there.
And that's probably what I don't like.
Yeah.
I
but
do
for
like
me, it's-
industrial. I do like metal. I do like industrial metal. But this is like chaos in my mind.
Yeah, and it's not having that very catchiness in there.
No,
That element is not really there, I think. The song structures are, yeah, all the same in a way. That's
very
kind of weird
long, and
to
there's
say, but it's kind of like um, there's not much variation in it.
no,
It just goes on, and within a song, that's they don't like have clear high and highlights or
no.
something. It's all very flat
I
in
miss a few
tensions.
transitions in a long piece of music. There needs,
Yeah, and for me, I kind of like this style. I can listen to it. I love it, but I
Mm-hmm.
can imagine that a lot of listeners struggle with this.
Like me.
No, but also like many others. I mean, for me, I kind of used to this kind of stuff because I
Uh,
listen to it a lot. But if you're not like a daily or weekly listener to this kind of
yeah,
sound, I think it's hard to follow
yeah.
along and stay interested into it. So that is something I think they could work on
Mm-hmm.
to
Agree.
improve. But yeah, they have been going along quite well. This is their fourth full length album, so yeah, that kind of made me wonder a little bit. Like, okay, um, yeah, you've been around for what almost 20 years now, and the song structures are not like picking me up that much as they could have been after this amount of time.
Yeah,
It
and
makes me wonder a
not
little bit.
everything, not every band, not every industrial needs to have that a certain amount of catchiness,
No,
um,
but a
but
clear structure.
yeah, there's sometimes it's like 30 seconds, a lot happening, but not like like you say,
Yeah,
structures or changes or a little up, or you work to a little tempo change, or
yeah,
you need a little. There's a little guitar coming, or there's a little bit more. It, and for me, it
yeah,
kind of fades to a whole of sound, a
yeah,
wall of sound, a chaotic wall of
yeah,
sound.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, I like what they are doing, and I think what they want to achieve is a could be very interesting. But they're not reaching it at this point. They're not
Mm-hmm.
reaching their full potential, I think.
Yeah, possible.
And I wonder if you've been around for almost 20 years, when is that realization kicking in?
But
What you
maybe
need to do.
they probably love
Yeah.
their own style.
Yeah, no, that's good. If they don't like their own style, then we have some other issues. Then you're basically only doing it for the money, and you might have well got yourself a corporate job.
Or a cover
Yeah.
band.
There's also people who really enjoy being in a cover band.
I know.
And yeah, no. So I kind of like the sound what they make, but yeah, I don't know. I think they could have done a bit better with this album. It doesn't reach the full potential. Um, yeah, that's a pity. And I don't know if they were planning to come across to Europe for any shows or whatsoever. I didn't see any announcement of that. In America, they have been touring with some other bands, like Wednesday 13, for
Mm.
example. Uh, Wednesday 13 also had something out or coming out, or I've seen some emails about
Yeah.
that, so who knows. And I think that touring was like maybe 2008, so who knows, they come back again, but I don't know. It's not a bad album, but I don't think it's the best for their genre and what they could have done with it. So
Yeah.
that's what I have to say. And then I will promise that next time I try again to find something that Ophir likes. Yeah, but sometimes you just have to pick something.
Yeah, I know.
That is what it is. All right. Enough about the album then. I think the news. Yeah. I have found some news again about As I Lay Dying.
Oh.
I mean, we spoke about that last year, how the story where all their band members were leaving, and we didn't know what was going on. I mean, the singer was already convicted once for plotting a sort of murder for his wife or something.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah,
and then it seemed that he was difficult to be in with a band.
Yeah, and then I know in December we didn't really speak much about it, but there was also some news came out that he did something again with his current wife, and then there was this thing that people released a video where he was kicking
a dog. Or something? Yeah, I remember something. Yeah.
And then a lot of people signed a petition to have him prosecuted for that. But now the
story continues. Okay.
One of the band members was on a podcast where he explained a little bit what happened.
Okay.
So we get a little bit more details.
A little bit of more background information.
Yeah, apparently they had played some local show to where this guy is living. Mm-hmm. And then he invited the band and the crew members to stay at his house. Some were apparently staying at a hotel. He invited the singer and his wife also around. They were originally staying in a hotel, but he said like, you can stay in my house, use my car, and just, be along, make yourself happy. Yeah, sort of kind of thing. And then apparently he went out. His wife stayed at home with the other wife, from the guy who owns the house. And apparently when he got home, he has been spitting in the face of his wife and then going mental. Apparently he did take a couple steps back and then went crazy or something. So
okay.
I don't know what was going on there. But here comes the thing. This all has been recorded by the guy who owns the house, because apparently he has security cameras all over his place. Which I think is terribly creepy that you have security cameras in your own house. America. Like in kitchen and but I mean
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. So now we know a little bit more about what was behind. Apparently that happening led to everybody leaving. The singer has tried to threaten the guy that if he would ever release the videos, he would sue them, because he's like, I was being filmed, even though this guy says, no, I have it at my door that you're being filmed in my house and whatever. And I'm like, holy shit, people, why are you filming your own kitchen? Like, I mean, I can understand outside of your house if you want to try to have, like, record if anyone tries to harm your house or try to break in or something. But, like, why are you filming in your house?
I don't know. The only thing I'm thinking about is, like, I don't know. You want to make money out of filming yourself, like... I don't know, like OnlyFans or
OnlyFans. I was about to say.
Documentary style, like, look at me in my house.
And, or was he setting something up, or I don't know what was going on, but I think it's very sketchy that you're filming like your own kitchen as a security thing. Like, I don't know, maybe I have a very European perspective on this. But...
Me too, but and the thing is, you can have like a little note at the door saying you will be filmed, but if it's like 3 centimeters by 2 centimeters, is that enough?
The thing is, I don't know.
Probably, it's there.
To be fair, I have a door camera as well, like the doorbell camera. I'm like, if it records you as soon as you enter my property, because then you're in my property. If you're walking on the sidewalk, you will not be filmed. Then there's also people who press the button and then are still surprised they're getting filmed. It's like there's this big record button and then you push it and then like, oh no, I'm being filmed. Yes, of course.
But I haven't been filmed in your kitchen, am I?
No, no. My kitchen
my
is not
tea
to be
making
filmed at
skills,
this
I
kind
don't
of
know.
state.
My tea making skills, I don't know if everybody is kidding. Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe there's somebody who has some sort of liking for girls making tea in the kitchen, but we could be getting rich out of that.
Oh, maybe.
I don't know. But yeah. So yeah, that was the as I lay dying story that I run into, and I was just thinking
strange.
like, okay. And
Very,
after
very
all these
strange.
months, now he decides to openly talk about this in a podcast. I mean, you could have done so in a statement right away, right? Like,
Yeah.
what are you in for something, or I don't know. That I don't want to say that what the singer guy did was any good or
No, but
whatsoever, but I think there's more to it than what we all see. Let's state it like that.
yeah.
Okay. Then I had some more news, and that is actually continuing on something we talked about. Was last week, I think, about Catatonia. Because Anders was leaving.
Yes.
Yeah, of course he had put up an initial statement, and a lot of people speculated, and including us in a way, about he was talking about that he wanted to play the older material too, and so now he has like posted a complete bookwork on his own pages on social media. It's like a really, really long story. So he said already about that, like that the new versus old material was being blown up as the main reason for the exit. Of course, it's there, but it's people were too easy on being the main reason. Well, to be honest, that was kind of what you posted yourself in that way. So, okay. But then the story is all going out about there were people saying that he hasn't contributed to the band in the last decades, and then he got like pissed off about that because he's like, okay, so I create logo, I do marketing, I talk to people and whatever. Just because I'm not like on the credits doesn't mean I don't contribute to the band. And I think he does have a fair point, because there's so much more of things to be happening in a band if you're at that level,
than just being
rather than creating the actual songs. you know,
and being in the public eye. I mean, there's
so I mean, I can understand that triggers him a little bit. But he also goes on about how he was sort of forced to leave the band, or sort of being replaced with new touring bands and sort of something like that. On paper, apparently, he's still officially owning half of Catatonia as the founding member or so, if I understood that correctly from his bookwork. So he was like telling that there was this album that they made that he was thinking that it would be Jonas' solo album, but then they asked him to transform it into a Catatonia album, and then he stepped in and do that, and sort of helped with that, to do that. And that then at some point he sort of was told that he was out. Kind of that. Conclusion, he said, so legally there's, and spiritually, yes, that too. The conclusion gives only two alternatives. Either the name goes into hibernation, which give everyone freedom to go his own way, or and we mutually agree that we both have the right to keep using our name. And since Jonas is releasing a Catatonium album on his own, it seems like that was chosen indirectly. And he's like, well, I'm no stranger to look what can be done with anything that has been neglected. Read the old stuff. So what I'm kind of reading into that is we get this kind of weird situation that we have two catatonias, or I don't know.
Yeah. Weird.
It's always such a pity that these things happen like that. I mean, we've seen it with more bands. We've seen it also with the Batushka that had like two Batushkas at some point. Recently, one of them transferred to another name, Patriarch. Yeah, I don't know. The whole story was giving some different light onto what was happening, but on the same time, it leaves me like, okay,
more questions.
Yeah. I don't know.
But I think we, you know.
Yeah.
You kind of know. You kind of knew that the thing that he wanted to play old songs was not the only reason. You know.
Yeah. True.
Yeah. There must have been more. So there has been more.
I mean, let's just say we know for a reason that a lot of these bands, as they get larger, they stop. These people are not always like being friends anymore, but that it's not a brand, but like more like a company where people work in the end.
And sometimes the friendship fade out as well, and that they are like.
They're just there for the money, and
well, you're in so like you say, you're in a sort of a company, and you're colleagues, and you're not. You started a band because most of those bands are started because of friends and love for music and playing, and not. You know, seeing everything in a commercial way, or legal, or. Yeah,
but then again, if you step out of that, what is your main income? You're going into a very uncertain situation. So a lot of these people always try to stay in the band as long as possible until something like this happens. And I'm not saying that happened in this case, but I see it happen a lot. That they're not leaving even though they don't like what they're doing anymore. They don't like each other anymore, but they're just sticking around.
But
that's also.
I don't know. It does sound like, if it's the case, like he describes, because it's point of view from one person, of course, that he's been asked to, Jonas was writing his own solo album. He's been asked to help with it. They're probably buddies. They used to write music together. So, okay, I'm going to help.
Yeah.
And then, it's not going to be my solo album, but it is the new Catatonia. Oh, wait, but
Yeah,
I think that would suck. I don't know. It's
yeah. I found
it's a different perspective. It's. I can understand you're not too happy when you find out that you think you've been contributing to a solo album, and then now it's.
No, but
if it is that case, of course, because we don't.
I don't know. It was. I don't know. It's just.
It's weird, but. It's
there's so much more going on than that is in this. It was a long story, but there's so much more that has not been said and maybe should not even been said. No. But I can understand that he wants to stick up for himself. Yeah. Because I think it's kind of mean indeed that people say he didn't contribute while he was like designing merch and that sort of stuff, booklets, talking to people. So that it's contribution is not only in the way of being the singer and writing songs or something.
Mm-hmm.
I can understand that he wants to stick up for himself for that. Yes. He has all the right to do so. And yeah. Oh well, but the drama was not over, so we'll see if we get any more out of this, or that we're just gonna leave it to that.
Yes.
On the hindsight, Jonas announced the new album, a new lineup with Catatonia. So, yeah, I guess we'll see. They surely will cross our path. People will still book Catatonia.
Of course.
So we'll see them, and we'll see how we like it. But I think song-wise, there won't be that much of a difference because, he wrote the song. Jonas wrote this song, so
Yeah, so
yeah. Yeah, well, kind of the beef for the week, so to say.
this week's
all the
beef.
drama. Yeah. Good. Then I guess we go to the Ikigai. What makes us happy this week? Uh-huh. Well, I think I already spoiled a little bit about the black greenhouse. Black greenhouse being done. That makes me happy, so I can move on to other things. And indeed, I am working on a couple projects. Not only for Templars, but also some private things. For Templars, it's gonna be a long haul. That will not be seen live, I think, for at least a year. But that's okay because it's cool. I'm not gonna be able to talk too much about it because I am doing something that has not been seen online yet in this form. So I like to keep it this way. But it sparks my creativity.
Nice.
Yeah, I've been investing some money into making the project happen already, so that will be interesting. That makes me happy. What makes you happy this week?
Well, I've been reading outside in the sun.
Oh yeah.
That was and had my morning coffee in the sun.
Yeah.
That made me
spring.
That made me happy, and a little walk in nature during work made me happy. Yeah. Just the little things. Sun.
Yeah.
Oh.
Spring.
And now today there is no sun. The sun has gone.
Because finally we got some rain.
Yesterday we had like 22 degrees full sun, and like today we have 12 degrees and rain. So, welcome to the Dutch spring.
Nature needed some rain. We haven't been having rain for 3 weeks or so.
I know.
So my plants are very happy with it.
I know. Mine too, but
yeah. Sometimes that just needs to happen.
Mm-hmm. But it would have been nice if I could sit outside today and read a little bit more in the sun. But there is no sun. Outside. I can still sit outside, but
yeah, I mean, I've been outside quickly to check on the plants, and the temperature is quite nice. So I think it would be nice to be outside sitting there. Yeah. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the first outdoor events soonish, and that will be around Easter and King's Day and everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, yeah. Now let's go to the playlist then, because I've been listening to a lot. I've been writing a lot of reviews. Yes. So
you've
finalize.
You've been listening to CDs.
Yeah. I've been writing a lot of reviews this week. Of course, The Cradle of Filth needed to be reviewed, and the promoter asked me, I know you did this great interview, but please can you write a review about it too? Okay. Okay. Then I was listening to Arch Enemy, because, it's not my thing, but we gotta have to see what they're doing on, and well, we're gonna be able to, we will cross their path again, and
probably
this album is not bad, but it's just the same as all the other ones.
So if you like it, you like it. If you don't, then you don't. Sort of, yeah. Fast review.
Yeah. No, it was no. I was listening to this band called Next Deed, who is kind of creating, I would say a trilogy, but it's five releases. So, how do you call that? I call it a series of EPs. And this is the first one. So, you can read the review on the website for that one. Then I've been listening to a couple that I still need to write about, and that is Cthulhu Maminati, something like that. Well, I don't know. Yeah. I've been listening to The Ref and their album called Troubled Mind. It's been on my desk for a bit, but I haven't really gotten to it yet. So, got to look into that one. I've been listening to this album called From the Light. Yeah, I think I mentioned it a couple times before. It's on my list. I still need to write about it. I have Verherald, which is a band that also did a comic book with their album. Oh. And I'm still not quite sure what to do with that comic book. Yeah. I mean, I've seen more bands doing that, like Skeptical Minds. Yeah. I've seen recently did what's their name? Edge of Paradise, which I interviewed who were doing comics. It seems to be a bit of a trend at the moment, but usually I don't have to review that. But this time I got it, so I need to look into it. So yeah, that's what I've been doing. Then I've been listening to Amorphous because I was sitting in the garden and wanted something neighbor-friendly.
Yes, very neighbor-friendly.
Yeah,
they sing about the bees, you know. I mean,
yeah. Well, I was listening to that album, but
you're building your greenhouse, and
sorry. And it's a bit better than craziness that I
know
tend to listen to. So that's. Then I've been listening to The Birthday Massacre, which has their album out as well, and I also am planning to write about it if I get my time for that. I've been very briefly listening to Caliban, who has the Back from Hell album coming out in May. I got it in like yesterday or so, or the day before, something like that. I was like, let's give it a quick spin, just because I'm curious. I received an album from the Dutch metal bands Black Rabbit, and they have been following us on the Instagram quite a lot, so I would be like, okay, let me have a look. It's coming out next week, the 18th. So yeah, I would recommend you look into it. It's kind of it's not an album, it's an EP. Yeah. That's coming out, and I like that we have some Dutch metal that nice. People are very actively going with bringing out that album. I would like to support that and write a little article about it. Then I got some Belgian symphonical metal. The band is called Worlds Beyond, and then the release is called A Rhapsody of Life, and that's been out since end of January, I think, but. For some reason, they sent me the album now, so I might as well review it. Because they're so nice to send me that album in physical form. So then I guess I have to write about it. Yeah, so that was quite a long list of what I've been listening to. Yeah, up to your playlist.
Well. Like I said, I've been listening to Satyricon and to Campfire. Satyricon is actually playing tonight, but I can't make it, sadly.
Oh, yeah, me neither.
Yeah. But I honored them by putting on a little bit of their music. I've actually been listening to something funny. I don't know if you actually know it. Brain Shake.
Heard about it, I think.
It's very old. I think it's like I don't know, 15 years old or something.
I think it's possible.
Well, it's a local band, and I think there were one of the singers from the Textures. I'm not sure if it's the not the current one, but the one before. I think he was in Brain Shake. And I think one of our local friends as well. And they have this song Counting Doors. It's a really good song. It's really catchy if you want to listen something old from Texture. The vocalist. Sliding Doors from Brain Shake. Give it a spin. It's on YouTube. It's not on Spotify, but it's fun. What else have I been listening? Yeah, the usual suspects. No Amorphis, actually. But you've been listening, so that's...
Represent. No Graveyard? Well, Elvira was still talking here, but apparently she did not record the whole thing. So yeah, there's a bit of silence in here. I'll cut it short. I haven't seen Magna-Cult for long, indeed. So good that they hear that they're back. I always liked them. And then we were discussing a bit about Magna-Cult because Magna-Cult is apparently coming back. And yeah, I would really like to see them again. I think they're playing also in some other places, perhaps. And I think they should have been the headliner of Willemsfest. Gosh, this last part has not been recorded well for Elvira. So I feel like I need to fill in the blanks a little bit. Such a pity, but, well, what can I do? Next time we'll take care that her part is recorded a bit better. I think leaves us only to do one last thing, and that's what we always do, and say bye. Oh yeah, and then we ended up talking a little bit about Swallow the Sun, who's coming to the Netherlands in May. And they're playing in Tilburg and in Amsterdam. The Amsterdam show is on Liberation Day. I'm like, they play in Amsterdam also, and I was like, they're playing on Amsterdam on Liberation Day on a lustrum year. Hell no, that I'm going there. Liberation Day is King's Day in repeat for people who don't know. Yeah. I saw that. Do they have cool supports? Yeah, okay. Before the Dawn could be something that I'd be interested in. Seen them too much. I never liked them that much that I care, but oh yeah, it's nice to have them along. Yeah. Yeah. But that's big. Oh no, I was thinking am I not gonna see the week after Wolfhard again? But I'm not sure. Probably not because it's gonna be Moonspell and Dark Tranquility. No, they this part of the tour they don't. Yeah. Oh, they could have dropped. Really didn't need to see them again. But then again, if we can actually see if she improved or so. Yeah. We should give it a second chance, I guess. Oh, no. Oh, no. No, 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 no. Oh my gosh, yeah. No, great. I'm trying to yeah, they're not with no. Yeah. Um, I try, but the thing is, I will have to drive all the way from Hamburg to Haarlem to make it because I have an event. Then yes, I have a Templars staff event. They're not really a staff event, but from an event from someone from our staff. Okay, so that's yeah. Okay, I think that's all for this week. I'm done. Yeah, I know. We still need to talk about something next time, which will be the day after King's Day. So I'll be fucked up tired. Awesome. All right, time to say goodbye. Bye. And there we were like